Good morning,
Santa Paula Teen Sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. Good morning, Santa Barbara. I can't say what a wonderful morning. Actually, it is a great morning if you like weather, okay? We don't get a lot of weather, but we need the weather and rain, even though we've had extreme bouts of it. Rain is good, right, Dominique?
Rain is great.
The rain, okay?
And we have the most beautiful rainbows with all the rain. I know there's a lot of other hardships with the rain, but Santa Barbara has an amazing rainbows.
Yeah, so I was just really crossing my fingers over the holidays, making sure everybody got there safely because it hit us right around Christmas Eve. But, everybody weathered the storm, as they say, so we're good. And guess what, guys? Today we closed the book on 2025. We had a year of grit, grace, laughter, curveballs, comebacks, community, and a lot of heart that we've shared. This has been 2025. It's really, I shouldn't say I expected anything, but 15 years, it was a milestone year, and I'm really excited and very blessed to be here for all those years, to share conversation stories, local voices, helping teens find their strengths, businesses help build them, help build nonprofits, holding the line because they're the ones that matter the most in our community because our nonprofits do so much. In the house today, we have Christine Marie. How you doing, Christine?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Yeah.
In the waiting room, we have a guest today to close out the year. We've got Coach Mike Mata, and he brought Rob Lemon. So we're going to get to them in a second. Rob is actually on the road today. So we just love technology, Dominique, don't we?
Oh, we do.
It's just like, you can do it by the phone while you drive. Yay. So exciting. So, we've got a great show today. Let's see, Dominique, you're going to do a section. Christine, you're going to do a section. And then we got this beautiful interview to close out the year. But before we start that, let's do this. We always do the gratitude. Christine, who do you want to give some love to?
I really need to give a lot of love again to the Isla Vista Food Co. They closed their downtown store on the 26th. And so it just didn't do so well for them. But they're still open in Isla Vista, and I just love them. I love a co-op, and it's so nice to go into a co-op and to really go into an old school grocery store or a health food store. And the only other one that feels really old school to me as well, besides the co-op, is Lassen's. And Lassen's here in Santa Barbara. And then I stopped by Lassen's in Ventura recently. Amazing. Best food I've ever seen in a hot food bar. All organic, all really just delightful. So I really want to give kudos to all those, the little
It's what helps make our Santa Barbara such a beautiful little, it's always been like a little small town community, even though we have a couple of 100,000 people here, but it always has that niche. We're like a little bubble. So, beautiful. Dominique.
Well, that's nourishment to the body. I want to give a shout out to all of our local libraries, which nourish our minds, our hearts, and our souls. If you have not stopped by your local library, please put that on a list of a new habit for 2026 to spend time at your library. And here in Santa Barbara, our local library has gone through a renovation. So you really need to stop by and go take a look at it. And in our Santa Barbara library, right next to it is a beautiful art gallery where local artisans are displayed.
The Faulkner Gallery, yeah.
Yes. It is so nourishing to just pause and walk through there. And there are many presentations done for free to the community inside of that space. It is so beautiful. So our Santa Barbara library has a bottom level where the periodicals are, and then the middle level, and then also a top level. So it's a super enjoyable space.
Beautiful. For me, I tell you, I got a few, and because we've had relationships with these nonprofits for 15 years. Of course, we have our co-host, Angela Miller-Bevan. She does the Unity Shop, and we have our Anthony Rodriguez who does the food bank. So those two are the anchors for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what they do, and of course, but I'm saying for food.
Yep.
So when there's a crisis, it's really nice to have that anchored, and we'll always support them. We're very blessed to have them in our community today. So lots of love and shouts to them. As far as a business for the last 15 years, it has to be SBR Glass. Saul and Gina love it. Oh my God, such a gifted, such a magical family. If you've never been there, if you want to see some really cool thing, doesn't cost anything. Go in there, check it out. Punch in SBR Glass, and it's a beautiful facility that he's moved into. It's great. I mean, everything is available to you. Teachers, if you're out there and you want to do a class, check it out. He's really good with kids, and that's really amazing. And then the last thing I want to say, Vivian, we had a phone call, a long, long message from Vivian here in Santa Barbara thanking us. She's retired. She loves the show. It absolutely was my secret Christmas present that I got. So Vivian, we love you back. I'm sure you're listening, and it's nice when you hear your name on the radio. So Vivian, we love you. And yes, I see Robert, and I see...
You see Rob and Mike Mata.
Mike, I see you both. All right, we're heading on out. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m.
Hi, this is Mike Mata right now speaking.
Woo! How you doing, Mike?
Good, how about yourself?
I'm excited. If anybody wants to know our connection, I'll have to go back to the past shows because it's a long story. All right. But you've been coaching for a lot of years. You know, you got drafted out of high school. You've totally taken care of me, giving me the kids that I need, the at-risk ones, the ones that need the love and the extra support. We had a great journey down at Cal State Northridge together.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, attitude to gratitude camp. We have big love and hugs to Darren Spiller and the Cardinals organization. But what you want to do right now is you want to introduce us to somebody that is out there doing the same thing and talk to us. So who do we have in the house right now?
We have Rob Levin, one of our good friends. He's doing a great thing right now in Fillmore, and he's doing a great thing in the Valley.
Wow.
Rob Lemon.
Yay. Welcome. Wow. Big air hugs, big everything. So how did you meet? Let's get to the beginning. How did you meet Rob?
Counterparts. He coached my brother in the past years. Then here and there, he does a lot of work for me in the uniforms. Then here in fall ball, he's doing a very great program.
Beautiful.
In Fillmore.
Nice. So this is down in Fillmore. So Rob, thank you again for being here today. And what inspired you to actually get involved with the kids, or did you just see a gap, or is it just a calling? Well, how did you get started in this?
Well, hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me on board with you guys, and appreciate the kind words. You know what? It's something that came up with me where in the fall area, I took my son and we tried out for another team locally, and tried out for that team. The coach was impressed with a little 8-year-old catcher, and he told me, he said, you know what, he's a great catcher. I just didn't think he would be from Fillmore. And part of me was very excited because, like, hey, my kids got a good compliment, being a standout a little bit. But then after that, I was like, wait a minute, you know, what the heck? It didn't settle well with me. And so what I did was I opened up opportunity in the fall through a small organization with some baseball players in our valley here. And we have players from, a couple players from out of the area, most from Fillmore. And then the advancement of play through the pony baseball rules, there's so many other cities outside of this small valley. We have Piru, we have Fillmore, we have Santa Paula area. And a lot of times our kids in this little valley gets kind of overlooked as, hey, we're the little teams, we're the little guys. And then we go and we try to compete with these other teams outside the area who are playing year round and stuff. And it just can be disastrous sometimes. And so I said, you know what, let's go ahead and give the kids an option. And so I reached out to some coaches and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to come on board? I'll handle I'll be the paperwork guy and handle all the nightmares of that. I just need some coaches to share the vision. And here we are with the brand new Fillmore Pony Baseball, our first year. And right now we have registered rosters, 64 players with 5 teams. And it's going good.
That's fantastic. That's great. I feel you. I see you. My kids are now in their 30s, but back when they were coming up, they might have also 2 catchers. And that's how I met the Cardinal organization and Darren Spiller, because I had a couple of kids that I noticed were always leaving early. They were in the year-round program. I finally hooked up with one of my friends. I coached her kids actually in basketball. I coached for 28 years basketball. And I'm like, Carly McCann, James McCann, okay, professional baseball player, catcher. I go, what are you doing? Like, help me. Like, tell me what I got to do. And she gave me a name, and it was Darren Spiller. And I just left message after message after message. He finally called me back at like 11 o'clock at night. And I did not stop talking for like 2 minutes, begging, whatever I got to do, I will like take my Lincoln Navigator and fill it with every single kid that I think has potential and talent. And I did. And I just hoofed down to Thousand Oaks, Los Angeles once a week, Sol Miss, whatever. I did it for 7 years. I mean, can you imagine getting kids off of a Bishop football league football field at 5 o'clock at night on a Thursday? I did this for 7 years, Rob. And drive all the way down to Sol Miss for batting practice, getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine? So
yeah, you know what? You know what it takes. I mean, it takes dedication, it takes time, it takes consistency, but it also takes a group of parents and players that believe in what you're doing and sharing that same vision. And for you, it seems like that's what happened.
Well, but both of my kids, every kid in that car got a college scholarship. And it wasn't about,
nice.
Of course I had, a vision, maybe they get drafted or whatever like that. But, my son, my oldest one, and it was really about relationships and connections, because Darren honestly goes, Joe, where do you want to go? Spark tested him. You're a Division II player. That's what you are. Where do you want to go? Gave him 3 schools. And lo and behold, right in front of me, he called, the coach picked up at HPU, Hawaii Pacific, and he told him all about Joe, and boom, Joe's done. He's on the team. That's what it takes, because it's just a freckle difference. When it comes to a kid, there's 1,000 kids that have the exact same marks as your son. And it really does. It's about a relationship, and it's about organizing it early for these kids to give them the opportunity. And thank you, and thank you, Rob. And, of course, and Mike, my man, for what you're doing and contributing, because it's just it's such a journey, but I know that I've got so much out of it. I wouldn't change anything.
And for me, what I've seen right now is just the kids, the players, the families who decided that they wanted to go with our new pony league because of the rules, the advanced rules that are available over other leagues, and also the competition that's greater. And the kids who came on board, I mean, they're already putting in work and they're loving it. And the coaching staff is just second to none. Mike included with that, bringing players in that want to play at a little bit more of a challenging level, not looking at the wins or losses, but the growth and development that they can get out of it as well. It's been great. And I think that for our little valley, like in city of Fillmore, we're famous for our fireworks and our car shows and for a lot of movies being filmed. I'm not going to say we're going to be famous for baseball, but guess what? It's time for us to try to make a little dent and say, hey, you know what? This little valley has a lot of talent. This little valley can compete. And, we don't have the big malls. We don't have the big stores and stuff here, but our hearts are just as big as the other players in this sport, and we're out to prove it.
Nice. Awesome. I know Dominique is going to want to ask you a question, but before we get to that, I'll let her, you can
think on it
during the break. All right. But we do need to take a break because we have people that we need to give love to in our community. Dominique, what do you want to ask him that he can think about during break?
About how he got into his love of baseball.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Gotta take a little break. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m.
Hello, everyone. We're back. This is Dominique Hackett from Santa Barbara Wellness Center. And during the break, I asked Rob a question regarding baseball. So I'm going to ask it again. So, Rob, where did you get your love of the sport? I mean, my dad was from New York, Brooklyn Dodgers, and he just adored baseball his whole life long. What drew you to the sport in particular?
Well, it's kind of funny because I am a former high school basketball coach of 22 years. And so and my son, who is going to be 9, doesn't like basketball. And he has a passion for baseball. And what really sparked me was that seeing a kid at a young age saying, "Hey, I want to throw. Hey, I want to be a catcher." And then, "Hey, do you want your own gear?" "Yes." "Okay, well, if I buy your own gear, you're going to have to put work in." "Oh, that's fine." We don't push him. He asks us to do stuff and we support what he wants to do. But what really got me was that we were in a league, we were on a team, and he got in the car, and a lot of the leagues, everyone plays, and so there's some kids that are not as talented and stuff, but for the kids who have that drive and energy, you need to support that. You don't need to push it. I'm not trying to live through my kid because I have my own life. I want him to have his own, but he said he wanted to play with kids who want to play. And now the way it works for us is all the kids in our organization, they want to play. They know they're going to be challenged. And so what I did, I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm not only going to take on the spearhead the paperwork and all the legalities and setting up nonprofits and everything and getting people on board, but I'm also going to take on the criticism of the people who are looking down on us for doing this. And it's been well worth it because the drive has been supporting the kids who want an option.
Right.
And our city is one of the only cities in our county that doesn't have an option.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that right there is where it's the void is filled now. And I think it's going to grow. I think that the kids that are on board now, they're going to see the growth patterns. I think the parents are already seeing, the drive. I had a parent ask me this morning, "Hey, when the next time you guys going to do something? My kid wants to get out there." I'm like, where most players don't even start practicing until February, our kids are already putting in work now because they want to. It's almost like, back in my basketball days, I would tell my players, "I'm going to open the gym if anybody wants to be there tomorrow at 7. I'd show up at 6:55 and there'd be a line of players there just because
Beautiful.
I would just opening the door. And now we're just opening the door by saying, "Hey, we'll be at the park. Hey, we'll be at the training facility, or we'll be at the batting cages." And kids are showing up because they want to. And so my drive is for the kids to make a change, to offer an option over other leagues, and get our little valley well known that, hey, we have some good kids here, good athletes, and we're out to take what we can get.
That is so beautiful. So where do you see your Fillmore Pony Baseball like in the next 5 to 10 years? What's your dream for the league's future?
Well, my dream is to have my dream is to have this become something of quality for the baseball community. And by saying quality is that you have to share the same vision. Development is key. We aren't going to count the wins and losses. We're going to have, 8-year-olds playing on 10U teams just because they want the challenge. That's fine. But I'm not going to say number wise, because there's some kids that want to play in other leagues, and that's fine. But in the meantime, I think the growth would be spread over, hey, you're going to get more kids available, or more kids wanting to be part of it out of the Santa Paula area, out of the Piru area, even some from Moorpark, that want to come over here instead of going to Simi Valley route. And I think that the growth would be to share that with the city to see it build, and then the community know that these kids are playing for their hometowns and putting the hometowns as best well on the map as possible. The growth area that I like to see is going to be positive relationships with the families, bring good families on board that want to share that building in the sport of baseball. And the building comes with preseason, comes with great coaches, comes with the development. The development has to come before the games. And, we aren't a travel team. We aren't playing 15 games in a month. No, we aren't going to do that. During season, we're going to play our normal season games, but we aren't playing 5 games in a weekend. So the growth in the building is going to be from the families and the parents, again, who want to share the vision, who want to get their kids advanced a little bit more. And as an organization, we're all learning too. We're all learning too, but we're able to form it from the ground up and create a full on program that has been shared with coaches and managers and myself, saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that, and create something that's just going to be loved by the kids and just let the kids grow in the sport.
Beautiful. Excellent. What else? Mike, is Mike still here? Mike.
I'm still here.
Oh,
I'm listening. I love it all.
I know. You're in awe. I know. I got it. Funny thing was when you were saying our journeys really are parallel, because I did the same thing in the coaching for the 28 years. Boys basketball, actually. This is like way before I even had kids, but I was only first, and this is volunteer. Of course, this is at the boys club. And I did the same thing, opened up the club Friday, Saturday night. I had the keys. It was great. I kept the kids off the streets because this was an old town, Goleta, which wasn't the safest place in the whole world, but it was all good. And then the funny thing is, for me personally, when my sons were in early puberty, I knew when they were cutting teeth at 8 weeks. I'm like, oh my goodness, I just don't know if this is good. But when they were in 8th grade and showing signs of facial hair and armpit hair, and they weren't even 6 foot, I'm like, damn, we got to switch sports. Okay. Basketball, you are not going to follow in your Uncle Chad's footsteps here. Okay. Because I married the run. So we in trouble now. So yeah, we switched and we had to do double time. So yeah, and that's just what I do. We just had to work, really hard. Not that my kids didn't always play baseball. They did, but they weren't on any travel teams. So I felt, back in those days then, now everybody, by the time they're in 8th grade, if you were, any good, you were on a team. So I had to work really hard to get them in the right place, to get the right position, to have an opportunity, because that's really what it is. And you are such a blessing to the whole high school organization of your city, because of all the years that I've been watching baseball, Fillmore hasn't just been a powerhouse because they didn't have any feeder kids, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Fillmore doesn't have any feeder kids, and we our other programs are really seasonal programs where we have a baseball season, a basketball season, a soccer, and so you have the kids kind of going through the pattern where there isn't really a feeder area, but this hopefully can change some of that. I know our local high school coach here in Fillmore, and I'm sure Santa Paula as well, and other schools are saying, hey, you know what, if you can teach the MLB rules along with pony rules, hey, it's going to just better their program.
Yeah, that would be great. Now, do you see the growth? Okay, because this is on the boys' side, because I know Mike is jumped on and flipped, and he does the girls' side too. Is that growing in a parallel, or is that behind a little bit? Where is that at, girls softball?
Mike, do you want to key in on that? Because, the softball area is, for right now with our pony, we don't have the pony softball in place, being
no.
Year, but
right.
Oh, let me correct that. I probably worded it wrong, because I know I probably worded wrong. That's on my fault. But again, I know you're doing the softball side too. That you're doing both sides.
Yes, yes. With that, the off season, we have a softball program that with our off season ball. Yeah.
Oh, nice, beautiful. Because we don't want to leave the ladies behind. You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they definitely need support too, because they have so many different options. USA ball here, this travel ball here. And again, I think it'll go back to the future. This easily grow into something that could benefit the softball community, with coaches saying, hey, we want to focus just on development and play and get these kids ready for high school and possibly further.
Right. Well, let's talk about it. It's expensive. Okay. So to have an opportunity for the kids that don't have the means, okay, to have a pony, because it's still reasonable. And I know there's scholarships opportunities, because being a parent that put my kids in the travel, it is not, especially when you're going to different states, you go to Arizona, you go to Vegas, you're traveling all over the place. I mean, I change it for the world, but boy, you have to have the means, and that knocks out a lot of families.
It does knock out a lot of families. And even for us, getting started with the pony program, I'm blessed. I own a company that, we're kind of financially backing everything to get everything started. And it's not cheap. It's not cheap to start the program. It's easy to get the paperwork going, but when you look at it, thousands of dollars of insurance. Our city here in Fillmore, working with them to get on our practice schedule, having to pay, upfront for our field usage. There's a lot of fees that do accrue there. But one thing a little bit different is that, we want to keep it cost efficient, and then we will be offsetting costs through a couple fundraisers. And, unlike the travel circuit, is that we're keeping everything local. I mean, I have a network of other coaches. We can put together small scrimmage weekends and stuff to keep it where the kids have experience. And then look at later is if the team is really good and the parents want to do it, we can look at going on a travel area. But in no way are we a travel team. We aren't going to go there. We aren't going to build it like that. Right now, the coaches are going to be focused on development and prepping their kids to take it up a notch and then get the experience with a whole different rule book for a lot of them. And, I challenge anybody out there that has that team that want to see kids get better. If you make a difference. I mean, get out there and coach with the organization, share their vision. And if you have a travel team, it's great. Kids are out there playing. Not talking anything negative against travel ball, because as long as it's run properly and the kids are kept safe, it's great. Our vision is going to be more of the local development. We're going to get the kids up out of this valley into whole level baseball. A lot of them never been to.
Beautiful. Now, as you grow, does Fillmore, because I'm familiar with the fields out there, do you have enough infrastructure to support growth, or would you like to go into the city and say, hey, need all these acres right here, let's build a park? Is that thinkable? Or
well, a lot of people, and it's sad, but there's a lot of people in communities, and I'm not going to just say Fillmore, but a lot of people in communities that, like, hey, our program is grown from 200 to 600 kids. We need more field space. Well, unfortunately, that's not a problem for the city. Don't put that on the city. The city has parks available, and that's what's available. If you decide to come in and build a program that needs an extra 15 fields, you should have thought about that. With us right now, we want to share what we can here, and keep it under control. It's very limited. It's very limited up here in this little city. We're going to be sharing it with other baseball and softball organizations. And as my conversation with the city says, hey, you know what? I want our organization to have its fair share. We aren't fighting for field space. We aren't trying to take advantage of field space. We're paying for every minute we're going to use of our field space.
Right.
And we can only use so much. So if there's room for 5 teams, that's all we can do is 5 teams. And that's the reason why there is no more dirt.
Yep. Okay, I see. I got you. Oh, well, do me a favor. I mean, I'd like to you're always welcome on Team Sports Radio. So that basically means that we are out of time. Isn't that nice? Church bells for the end of the year. But listen, thank you so much, Mike. Coach Mike Mata. Same thing with Coach Rob Lemon. Thank you both so much. And thank you again, Mike. And I'm looking forward to the next guest that you bring on Team Sports Radio. We'll be back with a lot more right after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m.
Hello, Teen Sports Radio family. It's Dominique from Santa Barbara Wellness Center, and I'm sliding into your ears right as the internet explodes with the same 4 questions teams Google every single year around this time. Here we go. New Year's resolution ideas. Realistic resolutions. How to stick to resolutions. And my favorite, resolutions that actually work. So basically, I want to level up, but I don't want to hate my life. That's what teens are Googling. Very fair, very fair. So today, instead of me giving you another wake up at 5 a.m. and drink green juice speech, I just want to tell you a secret. Some of the most famous people in history were once teens who were a hot mess with intentions. So let's start with one of my favorites, overachiever / chaos goblins. Ben Franklin. Yeah. He's the original OG habit tracker before there were apps, before there were planners, before there were bullet journals, teen Benjamin Franklin wrote out in the 1700s things like, I shall morally optimize myself. No joke. As a young man, Ben Franklin crafted a list of 13 ideas that he called virtues that he wanted to practice. Things like self-control, focus, honesty, moderation, humility, stuff like that. And here's the funny part. He didn't try to do all 13 all at once. No, he picked just one virtue per week, just one. And he literally said, if I mess this up, at least I'm only messing up one thing, right? So translation for teens, Ben Franklin invented the realistic resolutions. Yeah. And he tracked them with pen and paper. And if he messed up, he just marked it. No spiraling, no quitting, just data. It's not perfection. It's about the practice. How about Joan of Arc? Okay. This was the teen who didn't wait to, feel ready. Joan of Arc was about 16, 17 years old when she decided she was meant to change the course of history for France. 16, okay? Most people are Googling, do people hate me? Is my voice weird? How do I do with my life, right? So Joan of Arc didn't have a 5-year plan. She just had a conviction. Her resolution wasn't to be perfect. It was to be brave enough to show up. And let me tell you, courage is a resolution you can practice. You don't wake up fearless. You just wake up and take one scary step at a time. Now, on the artist side, how about Pablo Picasso, the teen who refused to be normal? Picasso was a teen art prodigy, and here's what people forgot. He broke rules constantly. Teachers hated it. Adults were confused. People told him, you're doing it wrong. His resolution wasn't fit in. It was keep experimenting. Teen athletes, artists, creators, listen closely. Progress doesn't always look clean. Sometimes it looks weird before it looks brilliant. How about Albert Einstein? Yeah, he was a teen at one point. Bad student, great thinker. So Einstein's teachers said that he was slow. He was disruptive. He was not focused. They didn't like having him in their classes, and it turned out his brain was just wired differently. If Einstein had made a New Year's resolution, it probably would have been, trust my curiosity, even when adults don't get it. And if school ever makes you feel, hear this, your worth is not measured by how well you memorize things. That's not where it is, okay? Let's go to sports. Michael Jordan. Yep, he was a teen too at one time. And when he was a teen, he was cut from the team. Yeah. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school varsity team one year and let that sink in. Instead of quitting, his resolution became simple. Work harder than yesterday. Not be the best, not be better than yesterday. That resolution, work harder than yesterday. That resolution wins championships. Yep. So, what all these teens had in common, none of them had it all figured out. None of them felt confident all the time, and none of them were perfect at consistency. What they did have was direction, curiosity, and one small focus at a time, which brings me back to you. Your teen-friendly view of next year reset. I want to make this easy, no drama. So step 1, pick one thing, not 10, just one thing. I'll give you some examples. Sleep better, train smarter, stress less, be kinder to yourself, focus more, scroll less. Then the second thing I want you to do is shrink it. If your goals feel intimidating, it's too big. Instead of, I'm getting into shape, try, I'm moving my body for 10 minutes 3 times a week. Ben Franklin approves. Step 3, track your effort, not the perfection. Did you show up? Did you try? And did you reset after messing up? That's what counts. So the real secret about resolutions is you don't fail because you're lazy. We fail at resolutions because, hey, we're human and we don't need a new personality every new year. We don't need to become someone else. We just need to take the next step for ourselves. And history proves this. Small habits, clear values, and consistency over the hype. That's how legacies are built. Quietly, imperfectly, 1 week at a time. So if you're wondering whether you can really change something this year, yes, you can. You've got this. This is Dominique Hackett with Santa Barbara Wellness Center.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m.
Welcome forward. This is Christine Marie with a view from the deck. And wow, all hail the new year and goodbye to the old year. It's the 30th of December, and I would say that the moon is waxing, right? Oh no.
I like that. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off.
That's right. Wax on, wax off. So yeah, the moon is waxing right now, and the full moon is going to be on January 3rd. So if you made any intentions on that last new moon, which I think was the 19th of December, those intentions should be coming into completion. Maybe you were completing the end of your old year, right? It's a really good thing to do that for completions. And then the next new moon is January 18th, which is deeply in the new year. So, and I like to say, I like to do New Year's intentions, not necessarily resolutions. And I like to really, balance the idea that, we're all human and we're doing the best we can. And the more that we grow and acknowledge and watch our growth, I think it's good. Mindfulness is one of my big things. I'm fortunate to do a mindfulness training right now, and I'll be able to teach mindfulness classes in the new year. So I'm really looking forward to that. This new year, well, actually right now, so where's the moon? The moon is December 30th. Where are we? There's actually really fun stuff today. Today is really about, there's the moon in Taurus is sextile, meaning having a really good conversation with Jupiter in Cancer. And this is a great time for really just having wonderful conversations. It's a great way. So it's like getting ready for the end of the year, right? And connecting with people. And then the moon is also sextile Saturn in Pisces. So there's good conversations. And actually with the sextile Saturn, it's about really looking at your goals and organizing and really, connecting and discussing things that are important to you. So I think this is it's a really auspicious thought for the auspicious thing for the new year.
Yay. Yes. Sending energy into 2026.
Yeah, sending really good energy. And I wanted to pull a card, but let me just do something really quick. I'm just going to do it all myself. I'm just going to pick one. Here it is. Okay, the new year is all about justice, which is about making your heart lighter than a feather. So I would say, when I look at the new year, when I look at the justice card, it's really about looking at things and reframing everything. So let's look at the things that happened this last year, no matter what happened, even if it was difficult, what lessons did it bring? And we can go into the new year bringing those lessons and blessings into a fuller perspective, right? And moving forward with them. I think that's one of the blessings of the Justice card is turning those little pieces of grit that get stuck in your craw into pearls of wisdom and finding those.
Well, we're blessed to have you, Christine. That's going to wrap up today's show today. So remember this, we always say this every week, but Teen Sports Radio, we love KZSB AM 1290, Laser Media. Thank you, Dr. D, for this wonderful year. Santa Barbara, just remember, be good, do good. God bless you. Let's knock out 2025 and welcome 2026. God bless. See you next week.